Hello aspirants, welcome to GS Core. I am Ashutosh and let's begin the session of daily current affairs analysis and MCQ. So today we have identified five important news topic of the day, and based on that we'll see the MCQs and the analysis of the conceptual analysis. Okay, let's first of all the small finance bank. It was in news because RBI want to lay out a roadmap so that the small finance bank can transit to a full-fledged bank, okay, or to the universal bank, okay. So that's why small finance bank was in news. Of course, by name is small, and as finance which is given to small sectors. Then we have symbol loading unit. The symbol loading unit was in news because the Supreme Court in its petitions, which is overlooked for the making VVPAT compulsory for the counting of votes, it has observed that though the universal counting of VVPAT, that is the 100% voter verifiable paper or trial shall not be there. However, the symbol loading unit, a unit which is being loaded to the VVPAT so that the names, the roles and the election symbol of those candidates are visible, have to be preserved for the 45 days simultaneously. Nota, none of the above, the right which has been not the right in fact, but a kind of facility which has been given to the voters if they are not satisfied with the number of candidates or the candidates who are representing his her constituency. Then we have big cats. Okay, the big cats mean the lion, tiger, jaguar, puma, snow leopard. This was in news because a big cat alliance has been recently few days back it has been launched, and it was in news because the headquarter of that the big cat alliance will be in India. This will be on the similar lines with the International Solar Alliance, which is being headquartered in India. Then the flagship species and the umbrella species, due to some reports which has been covered by the leading newspapers, that the number of these species and the conservation effort for them need to be more aligned to the specific needs, and in particular that's why the flagship species and umbrella species were in news. So let's look at the first topic, the small finance bank. I hope it is visible to you. So I told you it was in news because the RBI has given a roadmap for the voluntary transition of a small finance bank to universal bank. The first question is why RBI has laid out? Because the small finance bank are regulated by the Reserve Bank of India under the Banking Regulation Act 1949. First of all, thing is clear. Now, what are the small finance bank? They are a category of banks. Okay, means they are involved in the monetary exchange, giving the credits, loans, deposit, etc., with the purpose being to provide the financial service to small business activities, small business houses, lower income household and micro and small industries and the unorganized sector. So basically by these keyword what we understand that these banks are in the realm of providing the loans and the financial services to the unorganized small business, low income household and the micro and small industries, because their requirements are low. And if we have the small finance bank, so that we can have the availability of credits, and it will promote what? It will promote the financial inclusion of all into the financial services. And of course the ultimate benefit of this financial inclusion will percolate to the economy, rise in income and the diversification of the resources and the business activities. So ultimately we will have a more robust system of financial services, the financial activities in our economy. So the primary objective is very clear to you: provide financial inclusion by extending the banking services to the section of population who are not served by the traditional banks, because for traditional banks it is very much not possible for them to open each and every branch in every corner. So they are small finance banks serving the purpose of financial inclusion in these areas. Okay, now the key features of this bank, what these bank can do. So these bank can provide the services like deposit, credit, but they are restricted in their operations to the full-fledged commercial bank because they are the small finance bank. And for a full-fledged commercial bank we have some requirement of the monetary surplus and the basic requirement that we need to have this much of exchange reserve in our bank. So what is the criteria for the small finance bank? Their criteria is that they have to be फॉर 200 करोड़ रुपीज उनके पास होना चाहिए, तो स्मॉल फाइनेंस बैंक है वो. एंड with this only amount of resource at their disposal, the money at their disposal, they cannot be a full-fledged bank like commercial bank. So that's why they can only offer the deposit and credit services, but operations are restricted to the with regard to the full-fledged commercial bank. Now they have a mandate, they are being mandated that the 75% of the credit portfolio, means जो भी लोन देंगे उसका वो 75% of that loan in their credit portfolio shall go to the प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग, द PSL. इनको जाना चाहिए आपका कम से कम इतना तो आपको देना पड़ेगा. 75% ऑफ योर लोन पोर्टफोलियो, द क्रेडिट विच यू अवॉर्ड शैल गो टू द PSL in terms of percentage like 75%. And the PSL, agriculture, MSMEs, education, housing and other priority areas which can be identified by the RBI from time to time. Okay. Now with regard to their features and what they have to maintain, they have to maintain a capital to risk weighted asset ratio of 15% of the risk weighted assets. What does mean? That their capital shall be able to withstand the risk of the banking industry. उनका जो कैपिटल है 15% होना चाहिए किसका, risk weighted assets. So the ratio is been defined in that manner. And what they have to do, they have to maintain a minimum capital of 15% to the risk weighted asset ratio, which gives a comfort position for the banking to survive. ऐसा तो होना नहीं चाहिए आपने लोन दिया, आपका दिवालिया निकल गया बैंक, आपका बैंक खत्म, उसका पैसा डूब गया and you are not able to recover. That will promote the financial indiscipline. So to discipline these SFB, you have to maintain that 15% capital to the risk weighted asset ratio. And they are regulated by RBI under 1949 Banking Regulation Act. However, they have some features which allow them to transition into universal bank, provided they meet certain criteria by the RBI. Okay, and what are the criteria? So that they can the criteria is that they can demonstrate a good record of their performance with the all complying of the regulatory requirements, like maintaining of the capital to risk assets ratio, the 75% to PSL, okay, the moral solutions. So they can be able to show that they have met all the regulatory requirements and certain financial inclusion norms which have been given to them by the RBI and the government policies के हिसाब से जो उनको देना पड़ेगा, आपको वो कर रहे हो. You can transit into a universal bank, but however you have to comply with these things. Okay, so the first of all, the most important thing from prelims point of view is here we have the last point. You can see that the guidelines by the RBI for the licensing of the SFBs were first issued in the 2014 and the first in the 2015 it has begun to operations. ठीक है, 14 में गाइडलाइंस आया था और 15 में इनका ऑपरेशन स्टार्ट हो गया था. So based on that, let's see an MCQ here. So consider the following statement regarding the small finance bank. They can provide large development loans to business entities to the tune of 20% of its capital fund. No, they cannot provide. Even the developmental loans have to be in the range of 10 to 15%. 10 से 15% के दौरान ही आप उसमें लोन दे सकते हो, not more than that. And even the large loans have been discouraged क्योंकि you don't have that kind of backup in terms of capital. ठीक है, they cannot so one is definitely wrong. They cannot transition on to the universal bank. It is also wrong. We can see that RBI has given the regulations. RBI has laid out some norms so that they can transit to a universal bank. The minimum needed paid up capital is rupees 100 crore to be registered as SFB. It is wrong. It is 200 crores. Minimum capital is 200 crores for that matter. So none of the above are correct here. Let's see the next topic of the day, symbol loading unit. So symbol loading unit, why it was in news? Because the Supreme Court has issued the directions to seal the SLU, that's symbol loading unit. Okay, and what are the symbol loading units? Okay, they are a size of a match box. माचिस की डिब्बी के बराबर इनका एक साइज है जो कि first of all they are connected to the laptop or the personal computers. Okay, and from there the data is loaded into the VPAT. ठीक है, and what does this contains? It contains the symbol. Okay, and the symbol application is being used to load the data. okay, and it has the name, serial number and symbols of the candidate. Thereafter, it is connected to the VVPAT to transfer the file on the paper audit machine. उसमें उसका पहले connection होगा. पहले we have that matchbox size device which is connected to our personal, to one's laptop or the personal computer. Thereafter, it will be connected to the VVPAT to transfer the name, serial number and symbol of the candidates. So, the present election rules state that in terms of the SLUs, they can be not be sealed. Okay. So, Supreme Court said into the directions that along with the EVM VVPAT verification, what you need to have the seal the symbol loading unit. Okay. With regard to it, the symbol loading unit was first introduced at the same time as VVPAT, voter verifiable paper audit trials, which has been introduced in the 2013 में इसको first introduce किया था. And now with regard to the election law, which the Supreme Court is hearing to make it mandatory for the VVPAT to be 100% verified. Okay, so the current election law says that the election petitions, the petitions for the elections to challenge an election shall be filed in a court within 45 days, and during this period the EC machinery shall not touch the EVMs. So 45 days तक उनका जो EC machinery है, they will not touch the EVMs. Now they are saying that the symbol loading unit shall also be sealed within that period. So EC will have to seal the store the SLU for 45 days along with the EVMs. ठीक है, ट्रांसफर होता है VVPAT में, and along with that it has to be sealed along with the EVMs. क्यों? Because Supreme Court has said that so on an election petitions. ठीक है, I hope the point is clear to you. Very basic point. So with regard to the following statement of symbol loading unit, first statement says it is an integral part of the EVM right from its beginning. No, it's a catch. It's a VVPAT. Just I showed you there in the previous slide. Same time as VVPAT is an integral part of the VVPAT because it is being used to upload the names, symbols and serial number of the candidates. Second statement says it has to be stored for 45 days after the declaration of results for verification in case of the election petitions. So yes, it is true. So B only, B, that is 2 only will be the answer here. Next is Nota, none of the above वाला option जो election commission has provided based on the Supreme Court ruling जो उसके बाद आया था. So Supreme Court, why in news? Because Supreme Court has issued the notice to the ECI, that is the Election Commission of India. Why? Because there was a plea which asked the Supreme Court to make the Nota more beneficial, so that if the number of votes polled in a constituency exceed the number of if the number of Nota votes polled in a constituency exceed the number of votes polled to any other candidate, in that case the election for that constituency shall be null and void, and there shall be re-election, so that the purpose of Nota shall be well served. This was the petition, and on that petition the notice to the ECA, Election Commission of India, has been sent by the Supreme Court. So Nota, you all know, none of the above. It is an option provided to the voters in the elections that they are in not support of any of the candidates which have been which are standing for that constituencies. Okay, it was introduced in the year 2013 by the Supreme Court directions, so that there is one more right which has advanced, that is the right to elect. के अंदर democratic right को और advance किया था if you are not liking any of the candidate, so that you can exercise your Nota options. Okay. However, there is one important thing, that it is not a right. It is not a right. Not a right in the sense that if you cannot force a re-election or the election is not null and void. Okay. So if you are opting Nota is your choice. It negates only a negative vote expressing dissatisfaction. But on the same hand, it shall not be taken as a right, because आपको right लेंगे तो election को वहाँ खत्म करना पड़ेगा. Okay, they don't have a right to reject to voters in the sense of forcing a re-election. So that's why the petition was in the Supreme Court. इसको आप re-election के लिए लाओ. ठीक है, I hope the meanings are clear to you. ठीक है, so it was only the Nota only aimed to giving voters a mean to express their dissatisfaction. अभी तक वहां तक limited है ये. Okay, However, one thing you have to maintain in the sense of the prelims point of view, that it is only used for the general election, state elections, and not for the indirect elections by the system of the proportional representation by means of single transferable vote as done in the Raj Sabha. So you cannot use in the system of proportional representation, but only for the universal adult suffrage and the direct elections. I hope the point is clear to you. Now let's look at the questions. So consider the following statements regarding the Nota. So it provides a right to the reject to the voters. No, it is not a right yet. Let's see the notice being served by to the EC by Supreme Court, and what is the answer of the EC on that. Keep following that case. It also on the ballot in the Raj Sabha election. No, it is incorrect. Not on the Raj Sabha elections. It only in the adult suffrage, UAS, and the direct elections only. So if Nota polled the highest vote in a constituency, the election to the constituency stand cancelled. Not yet. So none of the above will be the right answer here. None of the above will be the right answer because all these three are incorrect. So let's look at the next topic. We have the big cats from the family like the tiger, panthers, leopard, cheetah, etc. So why it was in news? India is taking a big leap forward with the establishment of a international big cat alliance, which is headquartered in India. Very important news. Okay. So with regard to the lions, these are the name of the big cats which have been found in India and around the world. So lions are found in India primarily in the Gir National Park in the Gujarat area. The leopards, what is being most important for the leopard, they are widely distributed and they occupy the forest regions and even the urban areas. क्योंकि आप कभी देखते होगे memes के through या Instagram, Facebook पे, even the areas of Gurugram and the Faridabad, we can see in the Delhi NCR area that there are attack of leopard in the neighborhood. So it means that man and animal conflict is also there in the with regard to the big cats. Then cheetahs were once very much found in India, but due to their destruction of habitat, and main important thing was the their poaching, the जो लोग जाते थे उस टाइम में शिकार करने के लिए, हंटिंग पोचिंग वाला जो था उसमें वो लोग हुआ था, बट नाउ दे हैव बीन रीइंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन द कूनो नेशनल पार्क. ठीक है, अफ्रीका से चीता लाए गए थे, उनको रीइंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था कूनो नेशनल पार्क में. The issue behind that some of the cheetahs in the younger age have died. Okay, next is the Eurasian lynx. It's a medium sized carnivorous cat, especially found in limited areas of India. ये आपको याद रखना है. And in those limited areas, what about those areas? Ladakh, Himachal, Sikkim, northeastern part of the country. It means the mountainous region, in particular the regions of Himalayan regions के आसपास. ठीक है, Himalayan lynx को भी कहा था इसको, Tibetan lynx or Himalayan lynx. Now we have tiger. They are a native one to India, like Royal Bengal tiger, and their regions are the forest, grassland, and the mangrove swamps, like the Sundarbans. Sundarbans में ये पाए जाते हैं आपके. Then we have jaguars. Jaguars are not found in India. Why? It's not their habitat. They are the native to the Americas. ठीक है, and their main habitat in the rainforest, swamp, grassland in central and southern part of the America. The cougars, or basically they are known as the pumas also, they are also not found in India. Okay, they are native to the America. Then we have clouded leopards, no leopards, and found in India in the northeastern states and the Himalayan foothills. So based on this, let's look at the questions where we have. Very simple question, not found in India. Which of the following big cats are not found in India? Lion, we have seen it has been found. Leopard is being found in India. Okay, leopard, lion, cheetah, lynx is being found. क्योंकि यहाँ देखें आप तो ये वाला एरिया जो था ये इन द हिमालयन में लिंक्स इन बीइंग फाउंड. टाइगर इज बीइंग फाउंड. नाउ ऑन द jaguar and cougar, that is the puma, are not found in India. So 6, 7 will not be the answer here. तो 6, 7 जिसमें ना हो वो देख लो आप. C will be the answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 8 only. I hope the points are clear to you. Okay. Further, we have some kind of reservation. The areas for tiger conservations के लिए भी हमारे पास बहुत सारा अभी देश के अंदर चल रहा है. टाइगर कंजर्वेशन, द बिग कैट कंजर्वेशन. ठीक है, very important from the point of view of ecological conservation and the habitats of theirs. ठीक है, let's look at the last topic of the day. That is the flagship species and the umbrella species. Now the recent studies which have been published in the Nature magazine and the many of the articles have been covered over there. They have highlighted the importance of both flagship and the umbrella species in the conservation effort and the strategies in the context of preserving the biodiversity hotspot. So what it means? It means that if you preserve, if you conserve the forest, okay, by giving the flagship and the umbrella species, it will help us to conserve the biodiversity of ours. Why? No, the first reason lies in the nature of these species. The first is the flagship species. Flagship species are mainly as a symbol. Flagship मतलब वो आपको एक झंडा लेके आगे बढ़ेगा. They are called the ambassadors or the symbols that they are at times unique to the habitat. Unique to a habitat. Basic reason तो ये है इसका. एक डिफाइंड इकोलॉजिकल एरिया में होता है फ्लैगशिप स्पीशीज का. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जांपल द pandas, tiger, elephants are chosen as the flagship species. Then we have the umbrella species, the basic nature of the term umbrella, इसके अंदर बहुत लोग आ सके. So in the umbrella species, their habitat is more larger than that, and the umbrella species like tiger, when you preserve a tiger, it will also benefit to the other species in that forest regions. ठीक है, like if you preserve the tigers, you will have the preservation of macaws. Okay, so umbrella species require a large habitat. क्योंकि tiger को अगर आप preserve करेंगे तो for the tiger we need a larger habitats with a viable population, and by conserving their habitats, other species in the same ecosystem who share the same ecosystem, मतलब जो same, suppose जैसे घर है, हम लोग घर में एक साथ रहते हैं, तो अगर टाइगर जहां हम उसको प्रिजर्व कर रहे हैं, अगर सेम इकोसिस्टम में और भी जो शेयर करते हैं उस इकोसिस्टम को, वो भी स्पीशीज का प्रिजर्वेशन हो जाता है. ठीक है, एंड फॉर एग्जांपल, ऑफ कोर्स द टाइगर एग्जांपल इज देयर इन द सुंदरबंस. सो बेसिकली इफ वी डू द फ्लैगशिप स्पीशीज एंड अम्ब्रेला स्पीशीज को हम प्रिजर्व करते हैं, so it will help us to conserve the larger areas, it will help us to create the forest areas, and those forest areas will be beneficial for the protection of biodiversity hotspots. Hotspots means which is very fragile, and it has a number of flora and fauna which are endemic, which are on the threat. So that's why the preservation with the terms of flagship and umbrella species will help us a lot in the preservation of the biodiversity. Okay, I hope the point is clear to you. Flagship unique to a habitat, limited one, but umbrella is a more broader concept. Okay, not limited to a single habitat but an ecosystem as a whole, under which a large number of other species can also be protected. So while flagship species draw attention to the conservation effort, umbrella species contribute to the preservation of the biodiversity on a large scale by protecting the habitats and the ecosystem. So based on that, let's see the question over here. So we have the question: the flagship species are often charismatic or the visually appealing species, okay, that are chosen to represent the broader conservation efforts and attract the public attention. Yes, true, nothing wrong in that. Now next, umbrella species are species whose conservation also protect the habitat and other species within the ecosystem. True. Second is also true. We have just discussed that. Third number statement: the flagship species are always the umbrella species because of their high visibility and popularity among the public. Now, this statement have been given to confuse you with regard to the public attention. Though they represent a broader conservation effort, they have a charismatic or visually appealing, but the flagship species are not always the umbrella species. ठीक है, not always. True, because as some might not have that effect beyond a certain ecosystem. क्योंकि बताया था आपको यहाँ पे they are limited to a certain ecosystem. So the flagship species are not always an umbrella species. It's not true always. At times they can be, but not always true will be the right answer here. So that's why, because the reason being that some might not have the same effect beyond their own ecosystem. So that's why flagship are not always the umbrella species. So only 2B will be the right answer here. I hope you got the points here, you got the conceptual clarity. If any issues, you can give in the comment section. Okay, and the major focus of ours was to give you a conceptual understanding, the data understanding, and the skills to solve the MCQs. Okay, so let's see you next time. Thank you very much. Take care.